Hi, I'm Nick Driftwood, filmmaker and Panasonic Lumix ambassador.
Hi, I'm John McGregor. I'm a product trainer with Sennheiser.
So with the Lumix video-enabled cameras, you'll notice that we have a number of inputs, the microphone input and a headphone socket for monitoring. We have a hot shoe which can employ power to an XLR1, and we have inbuilt microphones for when we're setting up and using the camera without any microphones in. And it's not too bad actually, but it's obviously quite a wide spectrum of sound being picked up, and the frequencies can be all over the place.
Yeah, they can be a bit. I mean, the inbuilt microphones on cameras are absolutely essential because they can obviously be used as backup microphones should everything go horribly wrong. But you know, they are what they are. They do have a very unfocused directionality to them. And obviously they will pick up a lot of ambient noise, so you do want to think about using external microphones with your cameras at some point.
And then we move on to, plugging in something like, this is the Panasonic MS2 microphone, DMW MS2. It's a stereo directional shotgun microphone, and this will plug straight into the mic input on the side of any Lumix camera with video enabled. And obviously that gives you a lot more control of the manual settings. You can lower the decibel range, and you can really hear it when you plug your headphone monitoring in. The difference is much greater than when using the mic, the inbuilt mics on the camera. So more direction, John.
Absolutely. I mean, now you've got a proper microphone on top of the camera. With proper control over it, so you can get some much better levels from it. And also because it's a directional microphone, you can be that little bit further away. And the way it's designed is it removes a lot of the ambient sound from the side, so you are getting that directional image, much like the lens of the camera. You are focusing more on what's in front of the camera, whereas the built-in microphone is going to be pretty much trying to pick up a much wider field than you'd want.
And of course, the nice thing about the Panasonic DMW MS2 is that they've actually built in some extra functionality for audio recording inside the camera. When you plug this particular camera in, it recognizes the MS2, and you can see that we can change the direction or the spread of the pickup of the microphone from stereo all the way down to really sort of directed shotgun control. So, not a bad setup. Yourselves, Sennheiser, have you got an option for this?
Yeah, we do. We have our MKE 400 and our MKE 440. The 400 is a small shotgun microphone that goes on top, and the 440 is a stereo shotgun microphone that goes on top. And very similar to this. Once again, 3.5mm connector, plug them in, and they are battery powered, which makes life nice and simple.
Absolutely. So let's go up a level now and look at putting on a device such as this. This is the Panasonic XLR1. This is an audio adapter which gives you much more manual control. And the great thing about the XLR1, it draws its power from the camera, so you don't need to put separate batteries in. Lock it on, turn it on, and you can see that the green light that we have power coming from the camera. Here we have full control, manual gain pot control of two mono mics or a stereo mic setup. We have phantom power, line and mic settings, depending on what type of microphone is plugged in. So phantom power, John, just quickly give us a brief overview for those who don't know what phantom power is.
Yeah. So phantom power is for microphones such as this. This is a condenser microphone. Condenser microphones are different from dynamics. We need to supply power to the microphone capsule itself, because the microphone capsule is based around the idea of a capacitor. So we use 48 volts, and that just gives us the power we need to make sure the microphone does its job.
Excellent. Now, of course, we've also got, like a little bit of filtering, a low pass filter on here. We've also got what we call the ALC external switch. So if you don't want to set a level and you want it all automated, you can still use the automated level control. But yeah, nice pop control, manual recording and manual setting rather of the input. And very nice to use in professional sort of level situations.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's the advantages of using a microphone XLR input over something which is more plumbed in like this straight into the line input.
Well, it gives you the opportunity to start using, higher grade microphones, more expensive microphones, and obviously the higher quality of the microphone gives you a proportionate higher quality of the audio as well. So yeah, that's your main advantage.
Excellent. Okay, great. And the next, probably the final scenario in terms of video recording, we do have the mic input is actually switchable in software over to line level. And that means, well, John, you explain line level recording. What is that all about?
Yep, so line level is the signal that you'd get out of a mixing console or you'd get out of an external recorder such as the Tascam. And, the advantage of having that is that you could plug in the signal from your mixing console directly into the camera and record it. Or you could also take the signal out of your external recorder and plug that in. It just gives you an extra ability to record that audio again. One thing to be aware of if you're doing that, especially if you're using a mixing console or a multi-channel recorder, is that obviously on the mixing console or on the Tascam, as an example, you're going to have individual control over the levels. As soon as you bring it into line level on the camera, you're only going to get a stereo signal. So you're going to have to be pretty sure of your signals. But, as a backup, again, as another backup recording of your audio, it's not a bad thing. If you've set up things properly in the external recorder, or especially on the mixing console, you should already have a pretty decent stereo signal that, should everything else go horribly wrong, you've still got a good...
And of course, far better than the internal video recording
absolutely.
audio channel. Great. Is there any benefit to the inbuilt mics then?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're doing things like scratch audio, so just very quick setup, just turn the camera on, boom, off you go. You don't have to worry about setting up all the other external microphones. So yeah, they are really useful to have. In fact, I have a good story actually of the internal microphone. I used to be a teacher, and a whole bunch of my students went off and did a film project, and they shot hours and hours and hours of footage and didn't turn the microphones on. So they actually, thankfully, had the internal microphone. So it did save their skin.
And that was the quick guide to the microphone and accessories available for the Lumix S1H and other Panasonic Lumix video-enabled cameras.
Panasonic.